welcome to the channel. I want to talk about hello and welcome to the channel. I want to talk about Tony, I think his name's Tony Mason. He's deceased. And Dr. Grande did a video about this guy called Tony Mason who was living in Tillicootery. Apparently had prostate cancer. She survived. I mean, you can get into the ins and outs of this. But he was a cyclist, right? He was retired from the Navy. Was it the submarines? I think it maybe was. I'm just telling you what I remember about this. Anyway, I don't know anything about this, and it's quite weird that American would put a video out about something that I've never heard of, and I live near Tillicootery. I was working in Tillicootery for about a year in 2020. So I know Tillicootery. So this guy decided he'd do a charity cycle. I think he was doing a charity thing to cycle from Fort William to Tillicootery. So you got to train up to Fort William, and I don't know, I think he started cycling back. I don't know if he did that immediately or stayed the night or something, I'm not sure. So he started cycling back. So he stops, he got as far as, got through Glencoe, then he got to Bridge of Orchy. I can't remember, I was born in Fort William, so I used to go up from Stirling to Fort William with my mum and dad. So I'm trying to remember, it's Tyne Drum and Bridge of Orchy. I should really take a drive up there sometime. And so he went to a hotel. I think he went probably for a coffee or something at Bridge of Orchy. And so it was raining, so the proprietor tried to convince him to take a hotel, take a room, a bed for the night. So he didn't take up that offer. No, he said, I'm going to cycle on. So I think it was the early hours of the morning. So he went cycling off from Bridge of Orchy, and then it was like nobody, he hadn't cycled home. There was no sign of him. They didn't know what happened to him. So I think his family phoned the police after a day or two or something. Where the fuck is this guy? They signed his bike, they signed him, nothing. So I'm not very good at telling stories. But anyway, this was 2017. So these, how did they find out? So they searched everywhere, looking for him. Mountain rescue and all that sort of thing, right? Looking for this guy. And they didn't fucking find him. So, after, I'm not sure the exact timeline here, but somebody wrote to the police and pinpointed these two twins. Two twins? How the fuck's two? Why did you say two twins? How many fucking twins do you need? Fucking two? Yeah, so it's two twins. So it's twins. How many twins? Fucking two of them, right? So these two twins. Fuck's sake, that's really doing my head in that. Two twins. I can't help myself. Two twins it is. I'm going to get a story speed up because I want to stop it after the Kelpies. There's two twins. somebody wrote anonymously pointing the finger at the two twins who worked in a farm at Och. A-U-C-H, Och Estate. And that's where they worked. So police went to see them. They didn't want to, Dr. Grande said they didn't want to speak to the police. I don't know if that's true, or it just says we don't know anything about it. I don't know, right? So that was that. So then one of the twins, it turns out the driver of the pickup truck, which I haven't told you about yet, was on Tinder. Apparently it's some kind of dating site. If you want to get a shag, you go on Tinder. If you want to get a shag and you want to park your car in somebody's garage and they're of the same gender as yourself, is it Grande? I don't fucking know. I'm not trying to pretend I don't. I mean, I haven't been involved with that sort of thing for years, right? Because I'm fixed up with somebody, right? So I don't know anything about that, and I haven't been on that sort of thing for about 15 years. So this woman, so he was going out with this lassie. Her name was Caroline, and he decided, in his wisdom, that he'd tell her about and show her the grave. Somehow she asked to see the grave. What the fuck? How dim is this guy? You know? Anyway, right. So seen the grave, and so he was. I think he thought he was falling in love with her or something, and of course she told the police immediately, right? And so it turns out the two twins. Will you stop fucking saying the two twins? It was the twins. The twins were in the pub because the barman knew that, or a proprietor, whoever the fuck he was. So that's why it had been him that fucking wrote the anonymous letter, right? So they got in there, the Suzu pickup, and ran into this fucking guy in a push bike in the pissing rain in the dark and knocked him over, right? So apparently he was still alive. So instead of phoning for an ambulance or the police, they decided to fucking leave him, and they went away and got a different pickup, a Toyota Hilux, and came back and got this guy, and he was dead. The guy was dead. So the best thing to do, obviously, if you're in that situation, is to go and bury the body somewhere and dispose of the bike. That's what they did, right? So that's because this guy, the driver, was drunk. He was over the limit, apparently. How did they know he was over the limit? How do they know that? Or it must be maybe the barman had said how many drinks he'd had. So he'd been drinking, and that's obviously what you do in that situation. The first thing you do is phone an ambulance, you know, because he didn't die right away. But apparently a pathologist said that he could have lived half an hour or so and could have died after half an hour. So he had catastrophic injuries to his chest and everything. So it's the wrong thing to do. So I'm going to give you my analysis. I just think so I'm reading the comments in Dr. Grande. There's loads of people commented, a lot of people from Scotland. Obviously this Tillycooty's not far from where we are right now. It's about 15-20 miles from here. It's about 15 miles from here. Maybe less actually, it's about 8. I don't know what the fuck it is. We're at Falkirk at the moment. And so how the hell? So all the commenters are all, so there's a lot of people in Scotland. There's a lot of propaganda coming from the police. It's a pro-cycling propaganda. So there's a lot of stuff like that, right? So the government is fucking hopeless, right? Because it's about rights and responsibilities. So we've all got responsibilities. The government's got a responsibility to do all sorts of things. So what's happened in the last, well, the SNP government in Scotland and the Labour government in the UK, in Westminster, and the Conservatives, a whole lot of them have been pushing this kind of green communism thing. So they've got this thing coming from the World Economic Forum that's telling us we should all get out our cars and use push bikes. Wouldn't it be better if I was using a push bike right now? All this stuff that I've got in the back to cycle into Edinburgh in the dark, right? Anyway, so that's my point. So they're all sort of really pathetic about it. So Dr. Grande was as well with this guy. Now, so I'll tell you the truth is that you have a right to cycle a bike and you have a right to cycle in the rain, but you also have to recognise what can go wrong. Potentially, because you're on a push bike and like I'm in a van right now and there's a truck over there, right? So if that truck or this van hits you in your push bike in the pissing rain, in the dark, obviously I don't drink and drive, but if I lived up somewhere like that, I've lived in the country, I get it why people do. It's because pubs quite far from where they live, they go out for a few pints in the pub and then they drive. They shouldn't, but they do, right? And it's more likely to happen. And these two, like in Shetland or Orkney, it's more likely to happen. And people can do that safely, right? I know it's a very unpopular thing for me to say that. Well, you numpties will start getting upset, but it's it's kind of understandable, but it's not something that I would do, even though I did when I was younger. So, you're taking your life in your hands. Cycling at 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, overnight. So he was going to cycle overnight to Tillicooty, was what he was going to do. And so he died. So how the fuck did this guy land up shagging this forensic pathologist? That stinks, right? And it wasn't until I was reading the comments that somebody said she was a forensic pathologist. I was going, oh my god, that's obvious that was a fit up, that was a honey trap. So the police knew they did it, they didn't know where the body was, they didn't know where the bike was, they knew they did it. The barman probably knew they did it, or they maybe didn't know exactly how or why, but the barman knew that they left the Bridge of Orkney Hotel at the same time, well not at the same time, but roughly similar time, but the cyclist. So I just think the whole thing, this whole cycling thing in this country is just fucking pathetic, right? How fucking idiotic are you? You had prostate cancer, that's the other thing. It's kind of documented that cyclists can suffer from these testicle problems and problems down there with that area of your body. So that's probably what fucking caused it. He was a cyclist. He was a submariner, and it was just like, so I hate to watch because I'm being a bit uncool at somebody who's deceased, but personally I think I can't really forgive them for not phoning an ambulance right away. That's what you would do. I don't know what they're actually like, these two guys. Twins. Two twins. Yeah. But if I run somebody over right now, the first thing I do is phone an ambulance. Wouldn't you? Like, of course you would. Where the fuck? Somebody's lying on the ground. Phone a fucking ambulance. Jesus Christ. Deal with all the other problems later. The fact that you've been drinking or whatever it is. Obviously I'm not drinking, I don't drink drive, I don't go anywhere near it vehicle when I've been drinking. So I wouldn't mind a drinking Sunday afternoon actually. That's a plan. Anyway, right, so that's what happened. It stinks, but they got them and they got done for manslaughter. Obviously, if you're in a scenario like that, be honest, tell the truth right away. Don't try and hide stuff like that. That's insane, right? Now we're now in West Lothian. That's insane what they did, and they got jailed. One got 5 years, one got 12. So one will be out soon, because this was a couple of years ago. And personally, I'm not sure they're really bad people have probably known worse. It's not like they went out to murder this guy. So they did the wrong thing and they're paying for it, right? So I hope they can get out and not be total cunts and try and lead normal lives. Would be a good idea. Now obviously the cyclist is dead, so he's not going to lead a normal life. But with that said, so please, if you're, there's no point in me saying it if you're a cyclist, because cyclists don't listen, do they? It's like transgenders, isn't it? They don't fucking listen, do they? They just do what they want to do, and they want all their rights and everything like that. And we've all got to go, oh yeah, we'll give you fucking 3 metres of space and everything, and we'll actually stop our vehicles and get out and let you fucking cycle past and all this stuff. And we'll have a police will be campaigning for you. Instead of catching burglars, the police are going to be out putting videos about cyclists out in Glasgow. That's what they've been doing, because that's what they do. That's why Police Scotland are a corrupt organisation. They're not a commendable police force. They've proven that several times, right? So they're not real policemen like the policemen that I knew when I was younger. I'm not scared of them, but yeah, you have to watch all their surveillance techniques and all that shit. Try not to get caught out with them, but really, you know, they're not like the police that I knew were being. So that's the story. His name was it Tony Mason? I'll let you find out his name actually. Parsons. Tony Parsons. Was that it? I'll try and find out, right? And I'll put it in the description. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope that was clear as mud. And I hope I didn't offend any cyclists. Thanks for watching. Bye.